Welcome back to another episode of Two Step Builds. If you're new to my channel, I'd like to ask you to go ahead and subscribe. Smash that subscribe button down there. Go ahead and give me a thumbs up if you like what we're doing here. Be able to keep bringing you guys this good content here. But as you can kind of see, if you can look around the garage here, continue work on the skyline, making a big old mess, but we have made some good progress. Cut some speaker panels out, ran some wires, did a couple things off camera. Didn't want to bore you guys with all that. But we'll go ahead and run over all that here in a minute. But first things first, let's go ahead and run that intro. Alright guys, so we'll go ahead and take a look at what I've done here off camera. Got some MDF board. Go ahead and cut those speaker panels out. I think that'll work out really good. Also made that back panel there. Again, that was the one that I pulled out and it did crack. I went over that about 32 times. Sorry, I keep saying the same thing over and over. I'll get better at it. But we are going to grab some carpet. Probably go ahead and cover that with some carpet. And we'll end up mounting the amplifier to that guy. Should work out really good. We'll see how much space we got behind it. Hopefully we can kind of run some of the wires behind it, cover them up, make it look nice and a professional install. We also built the speaker panels out of that. They turned out actually really pretty nice. Like the way they work. I will show you guys how that works now. Sorry if this is a little scattered. This is my second go around. Apparently I didn't hit the record button the first time, so I hope I'm not forgetting anything. Get some good light for you guys here. Let's see how that looks. Yeah, it looks a little crazy. Let's do this. That was better. Alright, so again, as we kind of left you in the past, this is the door panel. I think I showed you guys all how to do all that. But again, speaker panels that we built, you can kind of see a little bit of the square I got there. That's actually going to be the cutout. I need to go either buy a jigsaw or an attachment for my Dremel. I think what I'm going to do is go ahead and cut that circle out of there. And the way those are going to go ahead and mount up, those will mount right nice and flush with there. We'll be able to go ahead and reuse probably all the factory bolts and everything, which will be really nice. Also got some of the boom mats we can go ahead and put in there. Put the speakers inside there. Keep them nice and dry because as you can kind of see here, all of my weather stripping. Oh gosh, that light is just terrible. I apologize. You can kind of see it looks all right on the camera there, but you can see, you know, a lot of that weather stripping. It's just all bad, you know, up and around the window well on the back side. It's again, with everything else, it's all getting super old. It's 25 years old. It's time to go ahead and replace it all. The kits to go ahead and replace this, the window stripping is very, very expensive. It's got to be like $300 or $400 for the back window, another $300 or $400 for the front. I mean, everything. I could probably spend $1,200 just on weather stripping for this. So I have seen a lot of people go ahead and run just universal. They'll take it to a shop and they'll just kind of run a universal strip. Honestly, it looks better than the factory in my opinion. So I'll probably go ahead and do that. But back to the sound system here. If you guys are kind of following along with me, if you guys are planning on doing this with one of your cars, good luck. This was probably the unfunnest thing I've ever done. Unfunnest. I just made that a word. So what we've done is we've run the new speaker wire, and if you can see, hopefully this light isn't crazy. No, we definitely got to have a little bit of light on the subject here, don't we? Try and get up close. You can see the size difference in the two wires if you can see those. It is a significant difference. So I'm going to guess that probably wouldn't carry a very good sound. So we ran all new speaker. Now getting that through the door, through the loom, there. If you can see there, getting it through there, through all of that weather strip was not fun. It had to have taken me at least an hour or two to get all that done. Run it through the dash. There's all these crazy hoses up here that I have no idea what the hoses are doing. And it took a lot of time, but I am satisfied with the final product here. We'll go ahead and wrap all that stuff in some electrical tape so there's not just exposed wire there. Make it look real nice, but I am happy with what's going on. As you can see down here, we have run most of the wiring. The only thing we really haven't touched is that passenger door over there. I decided to go ahead and park my car up next to the garage, and if you've been following along, we got the valve covers off and a couple different things in the engine bay that we're going to be doing here shortly. Waiting on a few parts to arrive. We're going to go ahead and get a bunch of stuff ordered up. Tax return money is coming in. Yay for tax return time. So I'll go ahead and get the new head unit ordered up. Hopefully I got a surprise for you guys on this. I'm going to really try and find some uncopyrighted music. If not, we'll just get something without words. Find something so we can turn this on. You guys can actually hear what this sounds like as a finished product. But got kind of something that I'm hoping I'm going to be able to do in here. Got to look for a little bit of space, but should turn out really neat. But run the power wire underneath here. We ran both coax. I've got coax and the amp turned on over here already, waiting for the head unit and everything to go in. We'll probably work on that here in a minute. Try and get that head unit thing there installed so we can kind of see how that fits. I did cut one side already. I'll go ahead and show you what I did, and we'll do the other side together so you guys can show, or so you guys can see what we're doing. Those are the speakers if you haven't seen them yet. The Gravity 6.5 component speakers. I forget the wattage on it. I'll show you the box again, or you guys can go back and watch my previous video. Step 1, I show exactly what I bought there. Great reviews on these things. Time will tell exactly how they sound, but again, got all that wiring ran. I ran it all the way up underneath there. That seat is just sitting in there. It's not mounted to anything. Ran it all the way through and into the trunk. So all of our wires are pretty much ready for us to go. As soon as we get a little bit of carpet, we'll build that panel. We'll get the amp installed. We'll start running all the wires, and everything should look good. You can see my disaster of all my crap in my trunk. I was actually really happy everything was still here this morning. I got up to leave for work this morning and realized my garage door was wide open. So good thing I live in a decent little area here. Everyone around me is pretty decent. So anyways, we'll kind of see what we're going to do here, and we'll check back with you guys in a second. All right, first things first, I think we're going to go ahead and probably mount one of those tweeters on the doors here. We got these little pieces that we pulled off the corners right here behind that, sit behind the mirrors there. So you probably can't see it. I did it with a black marker. Maybe you can kind of see it, catch it every now and then, whatever. But I did make a couple little spots that I know what direction. I'm going to kind of make them where they are actually facing. I think I've shown you guys these things already here, but we'll see if I can't find it again off camera here. Oh boy, what did I do with it now? There it is. Alright, so here's that bracket again. If you don't remember, I pulled the tweeter out of it so I can go ahead and make my holes, or my marks for my holes. We're going to mount this kind of where it's, this is going to be interesting to do one-handed here. Let me set you guys up here. I'll show you what I'm doing here. So we're going to go ahead and mount this for if it's in the car. It's going to be kind of angled up towards myself. So hopefully, I don't know, better angle towards myself than right at the floor. So we'll go ahead and drill this in, put these couple of holes. I just got to drill one little hole for those wires to fish through. We'll mount that up and then probably start working on getting that that head unit installed there. I'll check back with you guys and show you exactly what I cut and how I got to modify it a little bit to fit into the factory brackets, but it's going to work out pretty good. So I'll probably set you guys up on a time lapse here. You guys can kind of watch what I'm doing. I did notice on my last one I didn't have any music at all during my time lapses, so it was just minutes of stretch of nothing. I did figure out how to do that. So every video is getting a little bit better. Again, we'll go ahead and set you guys up on the time lapse. You guys can watch what I'm doing here. We'll check back with you guys. Alright guys, so we went ahead and just mounted up that little tweeter, so that'll kind of sit in there just like that. Got a little holes, fished the wire through. The screws I had were a little bit long, so we went ahead and just took the Dremel and just zipped the end of those screws off there so it sits nice and flush. Those are the little tabs that it clicks into. But really excited for that. That ought to look really nice. Nice clean install. We'll show a finished product once it's all done. As far as the head unit goes, we're going to go ahead and probably try and get that mounted up now. I don't know if you can see or not, but you probably see my breath. It is unbelievably cold in this garage right now. I'm all out of propane. I got to get another tank, so we're going to work as long as we can here, but kind of wait till my hands go numb. But you can kind of see what I already did here. So you can kind of see what I already did here. I went ahead and just snipped one edge of that off. And I think I mentioned once before, the reason I'm doing that is because these guys will interfere with the factory air conditioning unit or the climate control guy. So we'll go ahead and snap those off. Those wouldn't screw into anything anyways. And then the only other thing that we're going to have to do is on the top part here. That will screw in just fine in the bottom. there's a little clip that slides into one of those, and then these back ones here, this is the only other one. The factory screw holes right through the middle of that thing there, so we're going to have to unfortunately cut that one off, which I really didn't want to do. But then the factory bracket kind of sits on an angle like this in there, so it doesn't want to sit completely flush. So I'm going to have to just kind of grind down both of the edges here, so that'll fit nice and flush in there. So I'm going to go ahead and take the Dremel, do that, snap that tab off. We'll replicate that on the other side, and then we'll go ahead and test fit that in there and see how that works. Alright guys, hope you can see what I'm doing here. Got the little GoPro there set up on the passenger seat. It's about the only place I could find that it'll actually work. See if we can maybe get you guys a little bit closer here. Hopefully that's a little bit better there. Anyways, hope you can see what we're doing here. Went ahead and put the auto climate control back up in there. That is auto climate control. It's kind of neat for 93. It's pretty wild that technology back then actually had the ability to be auto climate. But anyways. All right, let's go ahead and slide that piece we put together in. We'll just slide all these wires in here for a minute. Now we got a couple of tabs up top there. I don't think I really need them, but I do think I can probably just bend them down a little bit, get them up behind that head unit. Oh, that's right, I remember. I'm going to have to kind of wrestle with this thing for a minute. It was, I think that's actually originally why I had the auto climate control out of there. Looks so good. Screws everywhere. Yay for fun stuff. Anyways, I think I took that out originally because getting those in, it's a little bit wider. Everything kind of slides in up between there. So again, without trying to bore the hell out of you guys, I'm going to go ahead and just probably set you guys up on a time lapse. You guys can watch me struggle at life here. Try to get that all mounted back up in there, and then we'll pick up the video again once I got this in and we're ready to go. Alright guys, as you can see from the time lapse, this thing's kind of giving me some guff. I'm not sure. It sounds like it's kind of hitting on something, dragging. I probably have to pull it back out of there again, kind of see what it's dragging on a little bit. I hope I don't have a whole lot of glare, probably a ton in my glasses. Hopefully you can see me now. Anyway, so I'm going to kind of mess around with this thing a little bit, get it to finally go in there. We'll show you guys after I get it all installed, but you kind of get an idea here what it's going to look like when it's all done. It'll be nice, giving that nice storage down low. It just seems like it's a little wide. I know it's going to fit. I test fit these things a couple of times, and they always looked really good once I test fit those side brackets in. So I just got to get it all worked out, figure out exactly where it's at, and then I'll get it installed. Having kind of a great mechanical night. Knocked over everything. As I was pulling that back out, I knocked a couple of those buttons off there. So it's a lot of the time that I know you keep working on something long enough and you just keep taking 2 steps back instead of taking your step forward. So it might kind of be one of those nights for me. I do feel good about what we got done. We kind of got an idea about what we got to do with this head unit. I don't mind if it protrudes out of the dash a little bit. I would be fine with that. I don't want it sticking out a whole lot, but if it sticks out a little bit, I'm fine with that with this dash kit. That was the only one I could really find. I looked for a long time as far as a dash kit. I couldn't find anything specifically for a Skyline. They do have a lot of doubled ins. I didn't want a big crazy doubled in there. Honestly, I really didn't. Not to mention this one that I'm getting here. Mount your phone on it. It pretty much does everything that you need or want it to do anyways. Start getting the door on. The one thing that I'm going to have to get a little creative with is the component that is called the crossover for the speakers. So it's this guy right here. I'll show you this guy, and I'll kind of show you what I think I'm going to do with it. So this guy right here is the crossover. Oh no, I've got the music going in the background. Yep. We'll see how sued I get. So this is the crossover. This is what both of the speakers plug into or mount into, as far as the component speakers. Obviously, that's what we're talking about. But your main wires come in right there in, and then that will go out. I believe W's for woofer. These are actually mid woofers is what they are, and then the tweeter for that. So I could not, for the life of me, find somewhere to mount this on this door. It looks like a ton of space. Nothing is nice and flush. Everything's got these concaves to it. But the one positive thing is because of this, because of the handle, because of everything that's going on, the factory door panel has got this big cavity right through the middle of it, right here. So you can see that's actually where the handle and everything mounts. And so what I'm actually going to do is I've got this industrial Velcro, and the handle's going to go there. Obviously that's where for the switches and all that, and then that amplifier for the window goes right about here. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to just double side Velcro the thing. I live by that stuff. I absolutely love it to death. It's done a ton of work for me. I'm going to just double side tape that, put it inside there just like that guy. I can run all my speaker wire to it, and then if I ever pull my speaker doors off again, my door panels, if I ever pull the door panels off again and I don't want to disconnect on my wire, I can simply just unvelcro the thing and leave it attached inside there. It'll just dangle a little bit. There's not a whole lot of weight. The thing can't weigh more than a couple of ounces. So I think that's going to look real nice. We'll get that all done. I'll show you guys as we go ahead and do that. I'm going to keep working away at this a little bit. If I just get, it's just unbelievably cold in here right now. So I'm going to keep working away as long as I can. See if I can't get that head unit done. If I do, I'll go ahead and show you guys the aftermath of how that looks. We did go ahead and mount the rear speakers already. If you can see them back there, those were just drop and play. Those were 6.5s from the factory. All we did was go ahead and just pull out the 6.5s, put them in there, and mount them in, and that's all there was. So as far as the rear tweeters go, this would be the real deck lid. That's actually what goes over the top of those speakers we just showing you guys back there. So that runs the entire span. And if you can see, right next to the speakers here, I've actually got a hole right here. And that actually goes down into the trunk bay, and that's the only hole through the whole thing. So in order to run those speaker wires, what I think I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to go ahead and find out exactly where that hole lines up on our back speaker panel here, which these are the vents. They go into the trunk for the trunk to be able to breathe. So it looks like they're going to be probably right about here. We'll go ahead and just mount the flat panel one instead of that angled panel one, so it'll look very similar to this guy here. So we'll go ahead and mount that just like that guy. Oh, we're sideways. Sorry, my bad. We're going to go ahead and mount that just like that. That way we can run our speaker wire down through there. Our factory speaker will go ahead and show straight through, which will be nice. And then we'll have those tweeters for that. And then for the component, I keep calling it a component. It's not a component. For the crossover, that is not my flashlight. Wow, I'm a hot mess right now. I apologize to you guys. For the crossovers, we're going to go ahead and probably just go ahead and mount it right to that back panel that we got, right to this guy. As soon as we get it carpeted up, I don't see any reason why we can't just mount it to that. Or, yeah, no, I really think that's probably the best spot. Because up underneath here, I think I showed you guys last time, I'm going to pull that factory amp off, but it's just all metal up underneath there, and I really don't want to start drilling holes and stuff. I really dislike drilling holes through factory metal panels, especially when I can just mount it to that panel. It's already made for all that stuff. We should be able to run all that wire behind the thing, so it shouldn't show anything crazy. Should look really good. I'm really excited about this. This is the first, real big sound system I've ever done. I've run speakers before, I've run different things like that, but I've never gutted a car to this point and run all this stuff, especially on a dream car of mine for many years. So it is a little scary pulling all this stuff apart with it being this old. A lot of stuff is breaking, and that dash kit, I don't know. I hope I don't have to modify too much, but I think it should look nice afterwards. So we'll keep working away on this, and I'll pick you guys up here in a minute. Alright guys, so finally back. about 30, 45 minutes later of cutting a bunch of these little tabs off of this thing, I found that the two tabs that I was trying to go to, the farthest two back, they were just too far. I finally got it to go in there, but then I went to go put the actual bezel around the dash bezel, and it had been sticking out so much that it actually wouldn't let the bezel go on. So went with the next two in. I'll show you the ones that I went with here. We finally got it back in, and it actually looks pretty good. I'm actually pretty pleased with what we got here. So this is what it's going to look like. Kind of go back behind there. As soon as the head unit goes on, it'll sit back in there nice and flush. I don't think we're even going to have to use the little surround that they come with. Gosh dang, against the light. So yeah, looks pretty good. Got the nice little pocket there. Again, I put that bezel on so we can go ahead and pull this off. Show you guys exactly what it looks like up underneath there with that all mounted. If I can get this off with one hand. It's got, these things just got factory clips that hold them in place, so you kind of set it in place and then it wants to hold itself. Oh, it's getting stuck on the shifter boot down there. Okay, so this is kind of what we got going on here. It will slide back and forth, so I'm going to use just a couple of washers just to hold it out to be nice and flush with that guy. But what we ended up having to do, and I can pull this out of here if I can get it back out of here. There we go. So, as you can see, the two tabs that I was trying to go with originally were right here and right here. And they held the thing out, you know, it looks like a good 3/4 of an inch or better on both sides. They were it was just holding it out too far. So I decided to cut those off, and these two behind there actually seem to work out better than the other two. They really get it in a good spot. As I was trying to put it in, there was a couple of tabs that were right here. I just took some snips and just snipped them off. Again, it just kept running into everything, and you really don't use them for anything. I mean, I could cut these all off and everything, but these ones, I mean, nothing's really going to get in the way. I can get in there with a screwdriver to get, you know, some screws and whatever else put in place. So once that's in place, that's going to look real nice. We'll run all the wires through there, get that all in place. I'm going to have to flip the car around eventually, get that passenger door off there and run the speaker wire. Again, that's going to be a nightmare. I haven't decided yet if I'm going to run it all the way around the back of the dash and then follow this through, or if I'm going to go ahead and lift the passenger seats out and then run it under there. I'll probably do it that way. It's just more of a straight shot, less of a run. I'm not sure how much length I even need to go all the way around, so I think that'd be a better shot there. Go ahead and take care of that, and then we can go ahead and get those speakers on that side mounted up. So here in the next couple days, I'll go ahead and pick up a tool to go ahead and get those holes cut out. We'll get the speaker panels mounted up. We will get the tweeter mounted. We'll get that put in place. We'll probably throw the door back on if I don't think I need anything else in here. One thing I really would like to do with the car is power door locks on this thing. It does have door locks, but it doesn't have a clicker. So we thought about just buying one of the aftermarket kits and just installing it while this door's off. But the doors really aren't difficult. Again, it's 5 or 6 screws and a couple of clips, and the thing comes right off. So I'm not too afraid to pull that off again if we need to do that. So we'll get everything put together, get those boom mats put on so we keep all the weather out. And then the next one, I'll show you exactly how I go about getting those tweeters mounted up to this guy. We'll get those tweeters mounted up, get that back panel on, hopefully kind of start putting this interior back together, make it look like a car again. Figured out what we're going to do with the seats. I'd like to do a nice set of, what was it that I found? Sparco. I think it was Sparco RRBs, I think it was again. I'll go ahead and put a picture of them down below. Really cool looking seats, really are. I like the stitching in them. Again, thinking about doing kind of the same thing on the ceiling, but it might be too busy, so I may not do that. And then in the trunk, we'll go ahead and get the carpet for that back panel. I know you guys can't see in there. We'll get the carpet for that back panel, get that panel all finished up, get the amp mounted, get those components that I keep calling them these guys, the crossovers. We'll get those mounted to there. And then the last thing I really got to do is I've got to do a little bit more work in here about finding out where to go ahead and mount the fuse, because that speaker, the wire, if you guys can't see it, you probably can't see it, it looks like it's too dark to me, but I did get some loom put around that wire so it wasn't just crazy blue looking. You can kind of see the end of it there. I'm thinking the only place I might be able to mount it, there's one screw right there that holds the fuse box on. I think I might loosen that, get a little bit longer screw, and mount it there. It's a big 100 amp fuse holder, and the fuse holder itself looks like this right here. So I probably cut one of the tabs off, just drill one of the holes out, and then use that factory fuse mount in there to go ahead and just mount this in there. Then I can cut the wire, run the fuse, go ahead and run that up for the amplifier and all that stuff that we're going to do in there. So I think that's probably where I'm going to go ahead and end this video, but we'll take a look around real quick and I'll let you guys know here. Alright guys, well I think that's where we're going to go ahead and end today's video. I'm trying to take as much video as I can without boring the crap out of you guys. Doing a little bit of this stuff off camera so it's not repetitious for you guys. But if you do have any questions, you have any suggestions, any comments, if you guys are following along, if you guys are doing this to you guys have any questions about what I'm doing or what you need to do on yours, please by all means, again, comment below. Go ahead and subscribe. Give me a thumbs up if you like what we're doing. Keep bringing this guy's content. And again, remember, if your hands ain't bleeding, you ain't dirty, you're not doing it right.